I'm pretty confident that all the policies I've looked at, and I've looked, preparing for this show, I've looked at the policies offered by the Institute of Osteopathy, and I use them rather than a broker because theirs is what's called a block scheme, I think, so you can only get it through the IO. I've looked at the policy offered by the British Chiropractic Association, again another one of those block schemes, and I've also looked at Balens, who are independent, and they all cover public liability and product liability, I think, within their policies.
Yeah.
So quite important. Employer's liability, presumably, you only need that if you have staff.
You've got to be careful about the term staff. If you employ someone just for a couple of days and you're instructing them what to do, technically they are an employee.
Well, you'll know that a lot of osteopaths and chiropractors work in group practices where the osteopaths or chiropractors are called associates. They turn up in the principal's building maybe with other people there, maybe not with other people there, but they're not acting under direction. They are simply doing their own thing as medical professionals.
In that circumstance, who would raise the invoice for the work that they were doing?
That's a very good question. So not invoicing the patient, the invoice that the practitioner would raise for their money at the end of the month.
Yeah.
We probably can't answer that question because it will differ across practices.
Absolutely so. So that's what people need to look at to begin with. If you are part of a clinic and people come through the door and you see them as you will, and then you invoice those individuals, then you're not employed. Mm-hmm. But if there's a receptionist and you're working within that, and it's the clinic that invoices for the work done, and then you get paid by the clinic, the chances are you are an employee in the terms of not PAYE, but in the terms of the employment legislation.
Right. God, that further confuses things, and it's probably outside the scope of today's discussion, because as far as have always thought, if you're an employee, then you have to pay, if you're an employer, then you have to pay PAYE national insurance. But there are exceptions.
And absolutely. If you think of labour-only subcontractors, they are, by definition, employees in the eyes of the law.